Hello and welcome back. My name's Relevant. This is Do All the Things, and we are returning once again with the train box build. Today, I'm going to be building the power supply module to go in here. So, stay tuned. So in a previous episode, I went and I got the control module in here, and hilarity ensued because I made a couple dumb mistakes that set me back a couple hours, but it's done now. Now this next circuit should be significantly more easier because it's a lot less complicated. Less is going on, and what is going on is more straightforward. Here's the schematic right here. PWM comes in, got a 10K buffer going into the IDXi 602 inverting MOSFET driver, driving a MOSFET. FQU11P06. I do believe I've already discussed in a previous episode why I chose the components that I chose, but here it is. Driver, MOSFET, inductor, diode, voltage feedback. Good to go. It's going to be pretty simple. Especially to get the ergonomics right, I had to use full out a 5x7 perf board, so stuff is reasonably spread out. It's not going to be so hard to cram that gram all together there. I'm debating rerouting maybe this negative bus right here. It could go that way, but I don't know. We'll see when I get it rolling. The only thing that's changed since the last episode is some arbitrary capacitors. I'm gonna try one of those newfangled 10U ceramics I brought in to drop the ESR on the output. The main output filtering is done on the output board itself, so we're not really having much capacitance on the back end of this guy. Tried to lay it out to avoid any loop inductance, have everything run smooth. We got a ground bus wrapping around, but it's pretty much on a path. So the first step that we have to do is get our mounting figured out. As you can see, I got my kep nut represented up here in the top corner. So I got to drill that out of the perf board. And then there's going to be a mounting point right here. You're going to notice these holes do not line up with the dots. It's because this guy is getting mounted slightly offset. So whereas it would normally go in just hole and hole, we're going to maybe do one hole is going to be offset up. Actually, turn this around. Something like that. Just, you know, I kind of want to make the logo straight, even though, yeah, that'll be fine. Like that, and then we have a quad of holes there. Gonna drill a hole right there. We're gonna be mounting, hard bolting the inductor down. It's a unit, so we don't want that weight just kind of wiggle-waggling on there. They put a hole in there for a reason, pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, roughly 4 dots up. That's what we have there. And the other one's at 3 dots. I'm gonna bring this other one up to 4 and then 5, I think. And that should put us right in the sweet spot right there. So we want to pilot those general holes. That should work. And then where's that kep nut going? Right up here, right here. 2 mounting points should be more than enough. And you can see I did a little squig wiggly here, trying to see if I can get a grounding point here. I haven't decided where I want to ground this to chassis yet because I'm still not 100% on the output board design. But it's got to ground somewhere, so I'm thinking if I run a little ground line, except it would have to come around the other side. I don't know. Either way, let's get this drilled in because we have to pre-fit it onto the enclosure first, or else it's going to be hard to do that once all the stuff is stuck to it. All right, holes going through. Boom. Next one's it's right center here. Did I get her good, bud? Did I get her good? Pretty close. Let's go dig up some hardware. You know what? One of the plans here is that half of this grommet could get cut off, or trimmed, I should say. Just take the bottom skirt off of it. So it puts it more into a shape like this. Then I'm hoping that shape is gonna kinda, sit in the end of this inductor. Just like that. Yeah, now it's pretty. So generally how this is gonna work now is we put the inductor into place and we have a 632 by 1/2 and a 1/2 inch spacer. 1/2 inch spacer so that it clears this lip. So any screws going up isn't gonna hit the board. Oh, I got it backwards, hold on here. That goes through here, goes through the grommet. And we just put a nut there. I'm not using a kep nut for this because it's got that spinny bit. With a normal nut, once I snug it on there, like that rubber is kind of gonna stop it from spinning out on me, I think. We'll see. We'll see what hardware I decide to use. And then on this side, same arrangement, 1/2 inch space. We're using a shorter nut. Maybe I could use one a little bit longer than that. And boom. And these double-sided perf boards I have, they are stiff and solid enough that we don't need a whole hell of a lot of mounting. That's gonna be lots. That thing's not going anywhere. So now we gotta copy these dimensions onto the Arshan end of the box. So it is going to sit right in here like that. Pretty much just have to do one of these. That looks good. Just copy those holes on there. Now, can I pilot these without the punch? Like, this is just aluminum, so it works pretty easily. Now, can I drill through this without screwing up the board? Kind of wish this thing was faster. It's nice that this is aluminum. Aluminum's so easy to work on, so yes. Chamfering this inside might be a bit tricky. The other good thing about aluminum is it's easy to cut into. Just maybe do one of these with one of these. Yeah, that worked. Did I mention that this was going to be the easiest one? Pop that into place. Just like that. Let's mock this up now. Let's get that long boy in there. And the short boy. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, this one has a different thread. Must have bought it from a different place. Whatever. All right, so now we should just be able to chuck this in there. Aha! Yes! And that is what it will look like installed. That is good. This is going to all fit together nicely, sir. Honestly, I don't think I could have fit this in a smaller enclosure, so this is kind of working in my favor. Well, now that we've confirmed that these components are into fitness, we can start soldering on this board. Which, you know, some watching this video who's not interested in my other videos might be interested in seeing me perf board this. So, I gotta release a second video about this process. It's gonna be long form, the whole perf boarding. So check that out. Otherwise, let's move on to the next part. So now we just have to crop off the excess. Ugh, flying everywhere. That should be a complete, oh, there's a little bit, right, pushing that cap aside. Oh, I can't get in there. MOSFET's a bit proud, but I think that's gonna clear our spacers. Yeah, lots. And then, you know, we just put in the crystals here. IDXI 602. Feels like it's not going in there nice. Uh-oh, it's just the pins on it are a bit long. It should work. Now we just have to stare at it a bit and make sure that I didn't forget anything. All right, here it is. The cutesy little power supply module, sir. Yes, I think I might have oriented this the wrong way. I tried to make it straight, but it's crooked. Kind of reminds me of the Ghostbusters proton pack a bit with this inductor. But this is one of the cuter modules I make completely with the multi-pin connectors, so I'm not having any wires coming off of this guy. And on the back side, well, pretty straightforward, but not really. Double traced up all the load bearing areas for maximum current conduction. Probably a lot more than the 1 amp that we're going to be rating this for. Or more likely 900 milliamps, that's what the adapter is. But now this should fit right in there. Well, we know it's going to fit. We've pre-fitted it. It's just finally seeing it put together. That's the little joy that we're experiencing right now. I'm going to harden up these mounting points. Let's get a nut on here. Going to need a wrench coming in from the side to snug that up. Oh, what size is that? An 8 mil works. And then just this guy right here. Standard nut, hopefully kept it to place by the rubber. Yeah, solid. That looks good. This is coming along. All this technology packed into here. And then this coming off the main board would go onto there. And then the main board would have power. Green is PWM. Let us look here. Yeah, no, blue's PWM right there. Yeah, and green is voltage feedback into there. A little haywire with the wires, but it should be okay. Now, if we can get power to this, we can test on it a little bit. It's gonna have no output, but we should get this thing to function to some capacity. So for that, we need ourselves a power jack. One of these guys, typical, I believe 5x5 by 2.1. I think this is made by Schurter. That, its intention is to mount right there. Now the wild card with this guy is I have another multi-pin connector ready, but it doesn't have pins, or it has the pins. It doesn't have wires. So I pulled them out because I didn't like the size of wires that it had for the application. This guy going to service the output module's 20 gauge. So I kind of want to keep up with that theme. Even though I don't know how practical 20 gauge is, because the wires that I have at 20 gauge are they're quite beefy. They have high density, high-end insulation on them so that they can handle the voltages and the heats that happen inside of tube amps. Question is, could I get some of this 20 gauge snapped onto there? Looks like I can, pretty much. I'm gonna be soldering on this. Well, let's see here. Let's strip back a little snippet of this and see how well it jams into the back of one of these connectors. Actually, not too bad, not too shab. It's not gonna clamp down the insulation, but the insulation's a bit big. Might be able to pinch that into place. I wish I could grab the insulation with this. It's like we would have to squeeze it in there. Trim it down. Like we have some points here. Come on, you were just in there, bud. Get back in there. Huh, I gotta open this up again. We can't rework these too much. I've derailed myself. Oh no, I gotta rework this connector. We got it yet? Nope, come on. How did you slip out so easy, but slip in so difficultly? Wow, I'm in the Twilight Zone now all of a sudden. I don't understand. Okay, I don't know why. 20 gauge is being a pain in the arse. We don't need that much power. 22 gauge it is. Maybe even use some of this old wire up. I don't need the high heat, high voltage insulation for this one. All right, let's be all surgical, sir. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Sorry for the camera shake. I'm in the zone, not waiting for it to stop shaking. All right, so we got the wire through. I want to pinch, crimp it into place somehow. Is there any way, shape, or form that this crimper will do that? Kinda not really, but then I'm not intending it to. The only reason why it is not done like this in the pro leagues is because it's more expense and trouble. But there's rightly no reason why you can't solder stuff like this. Once I do, none of this is going anywhere. We'll just bite on this insulator choke assembly, and that should be okay. Now I'm looking in the back of this to make sure my polarity's correct. Gonna go down like that. Oh, there's a little locking tab. We gotta make sure we push that out so it locks. Go in there, which means this side is positive. Then we repeat that all over again for black. All right, tab, and that should go right in there like that. Twist, 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 twist. Doesn't need to be very long, maybe a bit longer than that. It's basically going from here to about down here, and we want enough room to clear anything else that's going on there, because we have another module coming in here. Looks about right there. I'm gonna have just the slightest snippet of black wire left over. Oof. Make sure this can go through that hole, yes. Now where's our little typical center positive? This is not a boss pedal. Give her a nice little wrap around. All right, let's tack that down. I really don't want to mount this until I know exactly where the last module's gone, because it's gonna hover in this general area, and then I might have to adjust that to fit. However, it is complete now. Assuming I got the polarity correct, in which it does look, I should be able to plug that on there. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Just tight, probably because there's a little bit solder in the way. All right, but it's on there now. Which means if I put power to this now, this thing should light up. All right. And it does. And if I turn the knob, voltage feedback detects, turn it, oh. That's coming back fast considering there's no load on it. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. One module left. That is the output module. That is this pupper right here, which is the least complicated electrically, but the most complicated physically. This is part of the concept that I have so far using those IXDD 609s. Now that's assuming I have a chunky heatsink. That's this guy, which I'm not sure I want to use for this project because it's overkill, and I might have projects coming up that need more heat sinking. So at the last minute, I'm thinking of alternative heat sinking. It's the only thing that stopped me from finishing this today, even though it will be another video. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to stay tuned to see the completion of this project and see the train chooch, 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 chooch. What's the matter with you, bud? All right, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, stay tuned. We're gonna finish up the train box in the next video. Yeah. I need to go take some dinner, sir. Maybe I finished films? I don't know. Babble, babble.